Today we are multiplying decimals, okay? You do not have to make sure your decimals are lined up. You do, however, have to count how many places there are, or how many digits to the right of the decimal. So in 7, it's just a whole number, there is no decimal, so we say there are 0 decimal places. In 0.1, there is 1 digit to the right of the decimal place, so we say there is 1 decimal place. 0 plus 1 is 1 decimal place. And then we multiply that. 7 times 1 is 7. Oops, I need my little pen. And 7 times 0 is 0. Because there is 1 decimal place, we move the decimal 1 place to the left, and we get an answer of 0.7. Okay? So on the next one, we have -3 times 0.03. Before we even start, we're going to say I have 1 negative, and 1 negative is going to give me a negative answer. Okay, we need to remember to put the negative on our answer. So -3 has no decimal, so it has 0 decimal places. 0.03 has 2 digits to the right of the decimal, so we have 2 over here. So we have 0 plus 2 equals 2 decimal places, and we're going to use 0 as a placeholder in our answer. So we're going to take 3 times 3 and get 9, 3 times 0 and get 0, 3 times 0 and get 0. And then because we have 2 decimal places, we're going to move 1, 2, put our decimal, and add our negative. Now on these two, they put the bigger number and then the smaller, multiplied by the smaller number. It may be easier for you to put the number with the most amount of digits on top. So 0.1 times 7 and 0.03 times 3, because it looks more, you get the same answer, 70900. Okay, but we're used to seeing our multiplication problems with more digits up top than on bottom. C, 2.45 times 35. In this example, they do put the number with the most digits up top. So here we have 2 decimal places, 2 numbers to the right of the digit, and 35 is a whole number, so we have 0, and we do 2 plus 0 equals 2. And then you multiply that out, and you get 85.75. Now I'm okay, honestly, using a calculator if you have the following on your paper. If you write out the problem, and you write here 2, and here 0, and you say 2 plus 0 equals 2. Okay? And then you can do the rest on your calculator. But I need to see that you know how to calculate where the decimal would go. Example 2, multiply, estimate to check whether each answer is reasonable. So, we have 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place, right? They've already done all the multiplication for us. So we're going to add, for our last step, we get 2, 13, carry the 1, and 4. And we had 2 decimal places, so we move the decimal place over twice, and there we go. It wants us to also round or estimate. 2.4 rounds to 2, 1.8 rounds to 2. So instead of adding this time, because we're multiplying today, you're going to do 2 times 2 is 4, so 4.32 is a reasonable answer. Multiply, estimate to check whether the answer is reasonable. So we have -3.84 times 0.9. So we have 2 decimal places, 1 decimal, 2 plus 1 is 3 decimal places. So we know we need to move the decimal 3 places. We also need to look at the negative, and we have 1 negative. So we are going to have a negative answer. Okay? And then when we multiply this out, we get negative 3.456. So if we were to estimate to check, negative 3.84 rounds to 4, and 0.9 rounds to 1. And they have 4 times 1 is 4, but the 4 has to be a negative because the negative 3.84 was negative. So negative 3.456 is a reasonable answer. To find your weight on another planet, multiply the relative gravitational pull of the planet and your weight. The relative gravitational pull on Mars is 0.38. What would a person who weighs 85 pounds on Earth weigh on Mars? Now it tells you right there how to find your weight. And you're finding your weight on Mars. So it says multiply. So you're going to take 85 times 0.38, which they've already done for you below. 85 is a whole number, so it has 0 decimal places. 0.38 has 2 digits after the decimal, so it's 2 decimal places. And 0 plus 2 equals 2. So we know we have to move the decimal over 2 places in our answer. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry our 1. 1 plus 6 plus 5 is 12. Carry our 1. And then we got to move our decimal, and we get 32.30 or 32.3 would be the same thing. So 85 rounds to 85. And 0.38, they're just rounding to 0.5. Okay? You can't round it to 0 because then it would be 0, and you can't round it to 1 because then it would be itself. So we round it to 0.5. And when we do that, we get 42.5. So 32.3 is a reasonable answer. Okay, go down and do the check it out. As long as you do what we did before and tell me how many decimal places each one goes out and add them together to tell me how many places you would move your decimal in the answer, you can use a calculator.